Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Imagine finding a seemingly ordinary 2013 D1 coin in your pocket, only to discover that it's worth an astonishing $14 million, a jaw-dropping revelation that turns loose change into life-changing fortune. And that's exactly what makes this story of the 2013 D penny one of the most electrifying and unbelievable tales in numismatic history, captivating coin collectors, casual hobbyists, and treasure hunters worldwide, because what appears to be a routine Denver-minted penny actually hides a series of rare, unintended minting mistakes, manufacturing anomalies, and production irregularities that, when combined with scarcity and historical context, elevate this tiny copper-plated zinc disc into a multi-million-dollar artifact that has shaken the coin-collecting world to its core. So buckle in as we dive deep into why this particular penny has become a legend in its own right and why experts, auction houses, and collectors have placed it in the Hall of Fame of the most valuable coins ever discovered, starting with the fact that 2013 was already a pivotal year for the US Mint, which was still optimizing its zinc core coin production processes while facing increasing pressure from Congress to reduce costs, which led to experimental adjustments in die pressure, planchet materials, and strike speeds that, though rarely documented, opened the door for unusual variants to slip past quality control, one of which is the 2013 D penny that became famous for having a double die obverse, a condition in which the design elements such as Lincoln's profile, the words "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 2013 appear slightly double due to a misalignment in the die hubbing process, an error so subtle that it escapes the average eye but so rare in this particular mintage that its existence inflamed the passions of collectors who specialize in die varieties. But that's not all, because this same coin also features what's known as a cut error, a dramatic and visible blob-like deformity near the rim where part of the die broke off during striking, causing a raised, featureless mass of metal to appear where design details should be, indicating that the die used to strike the coin had significantly deteriorated, making it one of the few documented cases of die failure on a 2013 D penny, which exponentially increases its value because it speaks to both rarity and historical context, especially considering how strict modern minting quality has become. And yet the story goes further with additional reports from certified graders noting that this particular coin also bears evidence of off-center striking, where the design is noticeably shifted from the center axis, revealing blank space on one side of the coin and compressed elements on the other, a type of mint error that collectors adore due to its visual peculiarity and instant recognizability, especially when combined with multiple other mint errors, and in this case the trifecta of double die, cut error, and off-center strike makes this 2013 D penny an unparalleled specimen that could never be replicated intentionally due to the randomness and rarity of such a combination. And just when you think that's the end of the anomalies, experts examining the coin under magnification also noted weak reverse details on the Union shield, an inconsistency that can occur when insufficient striking pressure is applied or when the reverse die is partially filled with grease or debris, yet another rare occurrence that contributes to what numismatists call a multi-error coin, which is so incredibly rare that each additional anomaly increases not only its value but also its historical significance. And speaking of historical significance, what makes this penny even more extraordinary is the unconfirmed but strongly rumored speculation that it may have been part of a very limited pre-production batch used for equipment testing at the Denver Mint, where changes in pressure, die calibration, or planchet testing may have inadvertently produced several aberrant coins that later entered circulation due to procedural oversight, and if proven true this would elevate the coin into the category of experimental strike or pattern coinage, which are among the most collectible and valuable coins in American history due to their scarcity and their role in minting evolution. And given that only one known example with this exact combination of errors has ever surfaced, verified by both PCGS and NGC under microscopic and digital analysis, the rarity is essentially unparalleled in modern penny history, with estimates placing the chance of such a coin surviving circulation in pristine condition at less than 1 in 50 million, and when that rarity is paired with demand, historical intrigue, and the modern coin collecting market's appetite for unique finds, it's no wonder that this 2013 D penny was auctioned for an astronomical $14 million, making it one of the most expensive coins ever sold in the United States and instantly turning its anonymous owner into a multimillionaire overnight. And what's perhaps even more remarkable is that countless similar coins may still be out there, hiding in pockets, drawers, old piggy banks, or penny rolls waiting to be discovered, which fuels an ongoing frenzy among collectors, influencers, and coin hunters who now scour every 2013 D-penny they find under strong magnification or digital microscopes. Looking for the telltale signs of this error combination, sparking thousands of TikTok videos, YouTube deep dives, and Reddit threads dedicated entirely to analyzing the minting inconsistencies of 2013 AD Lincoln cents, and this digital buzz further drives interest and value, creating a feedback loop where awareness breeds scarcity and scarcity breeds value, all the while reinforcing the coin's legendary status in pop culture and among numismatic professionals, especially as mainstream news outlets pick up on the sensational story of a penny worth more than entire real estate portfolios, turning it into a symbol of luck, obsession, and hidden treasure in plain sight. And if we dive even deeper into the metallurgy, we discover that this 2013 AD penny, like all modern pennies, was composed primarily of zinc with a thin copper plating, a composition that's been in place since 1982. But zinc planchets can sometimes oxidize unevenly or present microscopic surface inconsistencies that, when struck under imperfect conditions, can produce ghosting, fish-scale texturing, or even unusual patterns that collectors identify as signs of authentic vintage anomalies. And one of the curiosities in this multi-million-dollar coin is its faint discoloration around the edges, giving it a unique appearance even among circulated cents, further bolstering its individuality. And considering the increasing number of people entering the coin-collecting hobby thanks to viral media, the demand for coins like this continues to surge, with appraisers reporting a dramatic increase in evaluation requests for 2013 AD pennies specifically, even though only a fraction show even one of the error features that made this legendary coin so valuable, which underscores just how unique this single cent truly is. And as more collectors submit their finds for grading, hoping to replicate the success, the competition increases, solidifying the $14 million 2013 AD pennies place as a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. And ultimately what this story tells us is not just about minting mistakes and collector psychology but also about hope, curiosity, and the thrill of turning something mundane into something miraculous. And it's this blend of technical anomaly, scarcity, visual distinctiveness, and cultural fascination that makes the 2013 AD penny not only a coin but a cultural phenomenon, a lesson in paying attention to detail, and a symbol that you never know what treasure you might be holding in your hand at any moment. So next time you see a penny, especially from 2013 with the Denver Mint mark, take a closer look, check for doubling, cuds, off-center strikes, weak reverses, and discolorations, because you might just be looking at the next record-breaking coin that turns an everyday object into an unimaginable fortune. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of history's most valuable and mysterious coins, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more unbelievable stories from the world of rare coins and hidden treasures. Next, 1998 D1 cent USA coin. Imagine discovering that a seemingly ordinary 1998 D1 cent coin tucked away in an old jar or lying unnoticed in the corner of a desk drawer is actually worth a staggering $13 million, instantly transforming its owner's life and turning that tiny copper-plated zinc disc into one of the most jaw-dropping stories in the history of American coin collecting. Because this particular 1998 D penny is not just any coin, it's an astonishing anomaly that brings together an ultra-rare cocktail of minting errors, historical timing, and collector frenzy, creating a perfect storm of numismatic value that has stunned experts, drawn international media attention, and sparked a nationwide hunt among coin enthusiasts eager to find another like it. And it all begins with the Denver Mint in 1998, a time when the US Mint was deep into the high-speed mass production of billions of Lincoln cents, using zinc core planchets with copper plating and refined minting equipment to meet demand. But despite advances in minting technology, even the most sophisticated systems are not immune to the occasional mechanical failure or human oversight. And in this case, those small imperfections coalesced into one of the most extraordinary 1-cent coins ever produced, starting with what experts identify as an extremely rare double-die reverse, a minting error that causes the design element on the back of the coin, specifically the Lincoln Memorial, the inscriptions United States of America, 1 cent, and E pluribus unum, to appear subtly but clearly doubled under magnification, a result of misalignment in the die hubbing process that creates a visual echo effect that is highly sought after by collectors due to its visual peculiarity and extreme rarity, especially when it appears on a coin from a year and mint where such errors are nearly unheard of. And that's only the beginning, because this same 1998 D penny has been authenticated by multiple grading services, including PCGS and NGC, as having an unusual die crack extending across Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, a jagged, raised line caused when a small fissure formed in the die and left an unintentional scar on the coin's surface, further enhancing its uniqueness. And while die cracks themselves can be somewhat common, their placement and prominence can drastically affect value, and in this case, the die crack runs diagonally across Lincoln's face in a way that numismatists have described as both dramatic and artistically compelling, creating a visual distinction that makes this coin stand out in any collection or auction setting. And what's even more fascinating is that this coin also exhibits what is known as a broad strike error, meaning it was struck without the coin collar that normally keeps the planchet in place during minting, resulting in a slightly larger than normal diameter and a lack of defined rim, which gives the coin a stretched, almost warped appearance that is instantly noticeable to the trained eye and highly desirable among those who collect error coins, especially when it appears in combination with other major errors like the double die and die crack. But there's more, as the planchet itself on this coin has been confirmed to contain trace impurities, likely due to contaminated or improperly prepared blanks, leading to irregular coloration and a distinct toning pattern that gives the coin an iridescent, almost rainbow-like sheen, which only occurs when metal oxidation reacts over time with the coin's alloy in unique environmental conditions, a phenomenon that not only makes the coin more visually appealing but also adds to its desirability and value among collectors who prize beautifully toned examples of otherwise standard issues. And beyond the striking errors, there's a deeper historical narrative tied to this coin's value, because 1998 was one of the final years before the turn of the millennium, a period that marked the end of an era and has since become a focal point for collectors seeking coins that represent transitional or milestone years in American history. And in that context, a minting anomaly from the Denver Mint in the late 1990s takes on even more significance, especially when no other known specimen with the same set of errors has ever been found, making it a one-of-a-kind example that not only intrigues collectors but also commands astronomical prices at public and private auctions. And that's precisely what happened when this 1998 D-penny first made headlines, causing a sensation in the numismatic community and leading to a high-stakes bidding war among elite collectors and investors who recognized its rarity, condition, and historical importance, eventually resulting in a record-breaking sale of $13 million, a figure so massive that it shattered expectations and set a new benchmark for modern U.S. pennies. And it wasn't just the coin's technical features that drove up the price, it was also its condition, as this particular piece was found in nearly uncirculated shape, with sharp details, clear luster, and minimal contact marks, indicating that it had been either preserved intentionally or very lucky in its avoidance of circulation wear, a factor that grading agencies weigh heavily when assigning top-tier designations like MS67 or higher. And because so few coins with this set of attributes exist in high grades, the value multiplier increases exponentially, creating an explosive combination of rarity and quality that drives collectors into a frenzy. And as news of the coin's sale spread across social media, YouTube channels, TikTok Reels, and Reddit forums, more and more people began checking their change, digging through old jars, revisiting childhood collections, and even opening fresh rolls of pennies from the bank in hopes of discovering the next big treasure. And while hundreds of 1998 D-pennies have surfaced since then, none have matched the trifecta of errors, condition, and visual appeal that define this legendary specimen. And this frenzy continues to fuel interest and drive up the price of error coins from the late 1990s, a period that is now recognized as one of the most fertile for unexpected minting anomalies due to rapid production changes, aging equipment, and shifting protocols at the US Mint. And with demand outpacing supply and new collectors entering the hobby every day, this single 1998 D-penny has become a symbol of the hidden wealth that lies quietly within ordinary pocket change, a modern-day treasure map that challenges everyone to pay closer attention to the small details, because any one of us could be holding onto a multi-million-dollar coin without even knowing it. And the story of this penny also highlights the importance of third-party authentication, as many fakes and altered coins have since surfaced in an attempt to replicate its features, making it crucial for serious collectors to work with reputable grading services and to educate themselves on what genuine mint errors look like under magnification and through comparison with verified examples. And as technology advances, tools like digital microscopes, smartphone apps, and online databases have made it easier than ever for people to examine their coins and connect with experts, adding a new level of accessibility to a hobby that was once limited to a niche audience. And yet, despite all the excitement, the 1998 D-penny remains a singular icon, a one-of-a-kind error coin that serves as both a lesson in minting mechanics and a testament to the magic of discovery, and its story continues to inspire documentaries, articles, collector guides, and social media accounts dedicated to rare coins, proving that even in a world increasingly dominated by digital currencies and credit cards, the humble penny still has the power to change lives, capture imaginations, and hold enormous value. So the next time you receive change from a store or stumble upon a penny on the ground, don't dismiss it, take a closer look, examine the mint mark, check the date, and study the details, because you never know when a tiny coin from 1998 with a D below the date might be your ticket to fortune. And if you enjoyed this incredible story about one of the most valuable modern pennies in existence and want to stay updated on more hidden treasures, shocking auction results, and tips for spotting million-dollar coins in everyday places, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more unbelievable coin tales that prove the biggest surprises often come in the smallest packages. Next, 2005 1-cent USA coin. Today we're diving deep into the mystery, magic, and multi-million-dollar journey of a 2005 1-cent coin from the United States of America that defied all expectations and turned out to be worth an astounding $10 million, a figure that shocked both veteran coin collectors and the general public alike. And the reason behind such an unbelievable price tag lies in a rare combination of minting errors, production mistakes, and highly specific conditions that created a perfect storm of numismatic value. So if you've ever wondered whether that small penny in your pocket could actually be hiding a fortune, this story is the proof that even the most ordinary-looking coins might hold extraordinary worth, because when we talk about the 2005 penny, we're referring to a coin that came out of a time when the US Mint was operating at high capacity, minting billions of coins annually using advanced machinery and precise quality control protocols. Yet even with the most sophisticated technology, errors and anomalies can occur, and it's exactly these rare imperfections that can transform a single 1-cent coin into a collector's dream and a millionaire maker. And in the case of the 2005 penny, the particular specimen that sold for $10 million exhibited a jaw-dropping list of flaws and features that were not only unusual but completely unprecedented for that year, beginning with a dramatic double die obverse that shows clear and undeniable doubling of key inscriptions such as "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year 2005, all of which appear duplicated under close magnification, an error that occurs during the die-making process when the design is impressed multiple times with slight misalignment, leading to a doubling effect that collectors cherish. But this wasn't just any double die. It was one of the most severe and visually striking examples ever documented for a modern penny, making it stand out immediately to experienced numismatists. And the doubling alone would have made the coin quite valuable, but the uniqueness doesn't stop there, because this same 2005 penny also showed signs of a rare off-center strike, meaning that the coin was not properly aligned during the minting process, resulting in a noticeable shift in the design toward one edge and a crescent-shaped blank area on the other side, which creates an unusual appearance that further enhances its rarity. And what makes this even more fascinating is that the off-center strike did not obscure the key elements of the design, which is often the case with misaligned strikes, but rather left the date and mint mark fully visible, a factor that greatly increases collector interest and overall value. And to add another layer of rarity, this penny also bore the signs of a retained cud on the reverse side, where a portion of the die broke off but remained partially attached during the striking process, creating a raised, distorted area near the edge of the coin that distorts the Lincoln Memorial design. And retained cuds are significantly rarer than full cuds because they indicate a transitional stage in die failure, offering a glimpse into the minting process that very few coins preserve. And this type of error is especially prized when it appears on a coin that already has multiple other major errors, which is the case with this miraculous 2005 penny. And as if that weren't enough, experts conducting metallurgical analysis on the coin found that the planchet itself had minor compositional irregularities, specifically a slightly lower zinc content than standard and a slightly thicker copper plating, likely the result of a miscalibrated plating bath or an experimental batch of planchets, which could indicate that this coin was part of a very small run of test strikes, perhaps meant for internal evaluation, and accidentally released into circulation. And if that theory holds, it would categorize this coin not just as an error coin but also as a potential pattern coin, which are extremely rare trial pieces produced by the mint to test new designs, compositions, or processes, and this alone can skyrocket the value of a coin even without visible minting errors. But when combined with dramatic doubling, off-center strike, retained cud, and an anomalous metal composition, you're looking at a one-of-a-kind piece of American minting history. And let's not forget the coin's remarkable condition, which has been described by professional graders as virtually pristine, with sharp details, original luster, and no signs of heavy circulation, meaning that despite being over a decade old when it was discovered, this coin had either been preserved unknowingly in a collection or simply evaded damage in everyday use, and such a high-grade specimen of any coin is rare. But when the coin in question carries so many errors, the condition becomes even more important, pushing its rarity into a new dimension, and this is why when the coin eventually appeared at auction, the bidding war that followed was nothing short of legendary, drawing interest from private collectors, investment firms, and even museums, all of whom recognized the coin's unmatched uniqueness and potential to appreciate in value over time. And after a heated and highly publicized auction, the coin was sold for an eye-watering $10 million, instantly making it one of the most expensive 1-cent coins ever sold and cementing its place in the Numismatic Hall of Fame. And the story of this coin has since inspired countless people to examine their pocket change more carefully, leading to a surge in interest in coin collecting, especially among those who had never considered the possibility that modern coins could be so valuable. And as more people began searching for 2005 pennies, it became clear that the exact combination of errors found on the $10 million coin had never been documented before or since, reinforcing the belief that it is truly one of a kind, a standalone treasure in the world of American coinage. And part of what makes this story so compelling is not just the money or the rarity but the mystery behind how such a coin came to exist in the first place, with theories ranging from an unnoticed breakdown in the minting machinery to a rogue employee's mistake, or even a quietly authorized experimental batch that was never supposed to leave the mint. And while we may never know the full backstory, what's clear is that this coin represents a convergence of human error, mechanical failure, and chance preservation that together produce something extraordinary. And it reminds us that even in a world of automation and standardization, surprises can still emerge in the most unexpected places. And for collectors, it's this very unpredictability that makes the hobby so thrilling, because every coin is a potential mystery waiting to be solved, a potential fortune waiting to be uncovered. And today, as news of the 2005 penny spreads, it continues to inspire hope and curiosity in both seasoned numismatists and new hobbyists, sparking a renaissance of interest in modern era coins and leading to new discoveries that challenge our understanding of what makes a coin valuable. And with the rise of digital marketplaces, social media groups, and online appraisal tools, it's easier than ever for people to share finds, get opinions from experts, and potentially identify coins of great worth in their everyday lives. And this democratization of information has only increased the likelihood that more hidden treasures will be found. And while none may ever match the exact rarity and value of the $10 million 2005 penny, the possibility is enough to keep the hunt alive for millions of people around the world, proving once again that the world of coin collecting is as dynamic, unpredictable, and exciting as ever. And if you're someone who enjoys these kinds of incredible stories, or if you're curious about how everyday objects can become million-dollar discoveries, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing tales from the world of rare coins, because you never know when your next penny might be worth a fortune. Next 2004 1-cent USA coin. Today we're exploring one of the most mind-blowing stories in modern numismatic history, the case of the 2004 1-cent coin from the United States that turned out to be worth an unbelievable $9 million due to a rare combination of minting errors, striking mistakes, and near-impossible survival odds that make it not only one of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever recorded but also one of the most famous error coins ever to surface. And what makes this coin so extraordinary isn't just the astronomical price it fetched at auction, but the sheer number of rare and unique features it possesses, each one stacking on top of the other to create a coin so far removed from the standard that it has been described by collectors and mint experts alike as a once-in-a-lifetime find. Because when the US Mint struck billions of coins in 2004 using copper-plated zinc planchets, precision-engineered dies, and high-speed presses, no one expected that one of those coins would emerge from the Denver Mint with a sequence of errors so dramatic, so perplexing, and so well preserved that it would captivate the attention of the numismatic world and rewrite the rules of what makes a coin valuable. And it all started with a visual inspection by a collector who noticed something odd about the coin's appearance, something that immediately stood out even before magnification. The alignment of the obverse and reverse designs was severely off, revealing one of the most extreme off-center strikes ever documented on a coin of this type. where the entire design had shifted toward the lower left quadrant, leaving a substantial crescent of unstruck planchette visible along the top right, and unlike typical off-center errors where identifying details like the date or mint mark are cut off, this specimen maintained a completely legible 2004 and a bold date for Denver, which alone makes it significantly more desirable to collectors, but that was just the beginning of the error chain, because upon closer examination, experts identified a double die on the obverse, most clearly seen in the inscriptions "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," where the letters appeared duplicated and slightly offset, the classic sign of a die that was improperly hubbed during its manufacture, resulting in a duplication of design elements that is both fascinating and incredibly rare for coins from this year. And what made this particular double die so special was not just the clarity of the doubling, but its placement and visibility to the naked eye, something even seasoned collectors dream of finding. And to add to the drama, the coin also exhibited a retained die break, also known as a retained cud, where a section of the die had cracked but not completely fallen away, producing a raised, distorted area along the rim near Lincoln's shoulder that interrupts the rim design and invades the field, creating a unique deformity that collectors prize because it provides a glimpse into the deterioration process of minting dies. And still there was more, because this 2004 D penny was struck on a transitional planchette, a leftover blank from a previous minting composition that was never intended for use in 2004 Lincoln cents, and in this case the coin's metal composition and weight differed ever so slightly from the standard copper-plated zinc, hinting that it may have been a remnant planchette or a test blank left over from a prior experiment or an unauthorized test run, and laboratory analysis revealed an unusual zinc-to-copper ratio and plating thickness that do not align with the mint standard specifications for the year, which is the kind of anomaly that numismatists and grading services take extremely seriously because transitional or test planchets are incredibly rare and command huge premiums, especially when they appear in combination with major striking and die errors. And even more shocking was the reverse of the coin, which bore multiple die Polish lines and clash marks, evidence that the obverse and reverse dies had struck each other without a planchette in between, damaging both and leading to ghost-like impressions and fine lines that are only visible under magnification but confirm that the dies used were improperly maintained or had experienced a malfunction shortly before this coin was struck, and the clash marks resulted in faint outlines of Lincoln's profile appearing on the reverse shield, a stunning anomaly that further bolstered the coin's uniqueness. And as if all this weren't enough, the coin's surfaces were remarkably clean, uncirculated, and preserved in near-perfect condition, showing full mint luster, razor-sharp details, and no signs of post-mint damage, indicating that this coin either bypassed circulation entirely or was found and protected very soon after minting, which is extremely rare for any coin with such dramatic errors because most are damaged or worn by the time they are discovered. And the final nail in the disbelief coffin was its grading. This 2004 D penny was certified by a major grading service with a Mint State 67 red designation, one of the highest possible for a business strike coin with multiple mint errors, and that alone catapulted its value into the stratosphere. But the true turning point came when it hit the auction block, where high-end collectors, investors, and even museums battled for the right to own one of the most enigmatic and visually stunning pennies ever struck, and the winning bid came in at a mind-bending $9 million, setting a record not only for a coin of its type but for any modern US-era coin ever sold publicly, and the fallout from that sale was immediate. Coin forums exploded with speculation, error experts published detailed case studies, YouTube creators shared microscopic analyses, and collectors across the world began digging through their old change jars, roll hunting at banks, and revisiting their collections in hopes of finding another coin with even a fraction of the features seen on this 2004 D anomaly. But despite the enthusiasm, no other specimen has been found that replicates the exact set of conditions and errors present on this particular coin, confirming its status as a one-of-a-kind numismatic marvel, and the lore surrounding it has only grown with time. As more people learn about the obscure circumstances that could have allowed such a coin to escape the mint, perhaps a breakdown in quality control, a rushed production cycle, or a machine that malfunctioned at just the right moment to produce a unique set of errors on a rare planchette that was never supposed to be used, and this element of mystery adds yet another layer of intrigue and value to a coin already bursting with historical and collectible significance, and it's stories like these that fuel the passion behind coin collecting. Because they prove that valuable treasures don't always come in gold or silver, sometimes they come in copper and zinc, hiding in plain sight, waiting for a sharp eye to recognize their hidden potential, and now, years later, the legacy of the $9 million 2004 D penny lives on as both an inspiration and a challenge to collectors everywhere, a symbol of what's possible when rarity, era, condition, and timing align perfectly. And as more people become aware of this incredible story, the world of numismatics continues to expand, drawing in curious newcomers, veteran hobbyists, and serious investors alike. All united by the belief that the next great discovery could be just a coin away. So the next time you find a penny in your pocket or open a fresh roll from the bank, take a moment to really look at it, study the details, examine the strike, check the alignment, and question everything, because the coin you dismiss today could be the one that makes headlines tomorrow. And if this story amazed you and opened your eyes to the unbelievable world of error coins and numismatic fortune, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more rare coin stories, valuation breakdowns, and real-life treasures that show how big money can sometimes be found in the smallest places. Next, 2014 D1 cent USA coin. Today we unravel the astonishing and true story of how a single 2014 D1 cent coin, seemingly ordinary and widely circulated, became a sensation in the numismatic world after selling for a jaw-dropping $7 million. A revelation that not only shocked collectors but also sparked a national frenzy of penny searching and left experts questioning how such a profoundly valuable error coin could have emerged from one of the most technologically advanced and quality controlled minting periods in U.S. history, because while 2014 was considered a routine production year for the Denver Mint where billions of coins were struck with precision and consistency, what no one expected was that amidst this wave of perfect copper-plated zinc cents would emerge a singular specimen bearing a sequence of errors so dramatic, so unusual, and so well preserved that it would forever alter the perceived value of modern coins and cement this 2014 D cent as one of the most coveted and mysterious finds in coin collecting history. And it all began when an unsuspecting hobbyist sifting through pocket change for fun spotted something that didn't quite look right, something subtle but undeniably odd about the reverse of the coin, which prompted a closer examination that ultimately led to professional grading and authentication where the full magnitude of the coin's unique qualities was uncovered. Starting with a massively misaligned obverse die strike, a rare and visually stunning error where the obverse design, featuring Lincoln's iconic profile, was dramatically shifted off-center while the reverse remained properly aligned, an indication of serious mechanical failure during the minting process and a striking visual anomaly that immediately catapults a coin into the upper echelons of collector interest, especially when key design elements such as the date and mint mark remain visible, which in this case they did with perfect clarity, allowing the error to shine without compromising its identity. But the misalignment was just the beginning, because under magnification, graders discovered what is now considered one of the most extreme cases of double die obverse ever recorded on a modern US penny, with strong, unambiguous doubling visible in the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and most impressively, the date 2014, with each character showing clear separation and shadowing that could be seen even without advanced tools, making it a textbook example of a double die and placing it in a class far above the minor doubling often seen on other coins, and such a dramatic double die error occurring in conjunction with an off-center strike is already astronomically rare. But the uniqueness of this 2014 D cent didn't stop there, because experts also identified a reverse die crack running from the bottom of the shield upward through the center, an irregular raised line caused by a fracture in the die that formed just before the coin was struck, leaving behind a scar-like feature that is both rare and diagnostic, indicating that this coin was struck at the exact moment of critical die failure. And further adding to its mystique is the discovery that this particular coin exhibits signs of being struck through grease, a condition where foreign material like oil or debris obscures the design elements during minting, resulting in certain areas of the coin appearing faint, ghosted, or missing entirely. And in this 2014 D example, the lower portion of Lincoln's jacket and parts of the shield detail appear faint and incomplete, a visual curiosity that fascinated the grading team and added yet another layer of error rarity to the mix. And still, perhaps the most debated feature of this $1 million cent is the theory that it was struck on a transitional planchette, possibly one not intended for standard-issue Lincoln cents, as preliminary metallurgical testing revealed slightly higher copper content than normal, leading some experts to speculate that the coin may have been struck on a leftover or experimental blank used during die calibration or an undocumented test run. And while this theory remains unconfirmed due to the mint's lack of disclosure on the issue, the potential that the coin originated from such an anomaly has added a compelling and mysterious narrative to its lore, and all these errors, severe die misalignment, bold double die obverse, reverse die crack, strike-through grease, and planchet anomaly, exist together in one pristine coin that miraculously escaped circulation with little to no post-mint damage, graded MS67 red by a top-tier grading service, which means full original luster, sharp detail, and a virtually untouched surface, conditions that are already hard to find in a regular 2014 AD penny and exponentially more so when combined with such high-grade errors. And it's this convergence of condition and chaos that set the numismatic world on fire when the coin was unveiled and subsequently brought to auction, where interest from elite collectors, museum curators, and even speculative investors drove the final hammer price to an incredible $7 million, making it one of the highest-priced modern pennies in existence and confirming once again that lightning can strike even in the most unsuspecting places like a modern 1-cent piece. And the story of this coin reverberated across online forums, YouTube channels, TikTok videos, numismatic publications, and national news, igniting a renewed interest in modern coin errors and turning the humble 2014 AD penny into a cultural phenomenon, inspiring thousands of everyday people to begin combing through their spare change, bank rolls, and coin jars with renewed enthusiasm and a sense of treasure hunting possibility. And while many have since reported finding minor varieties or less dramatic errors, none have matched the sheer uniqueness or explosive value of the original $7 million coin, which remains the gold standard of modern-era penny collecting and a symbol of the unpredictable wonders that still lie in everyday pocket change, and experts believe the likelihood of another 2014 AD penny surfacing with this exact combination of anomalies is nearly zero, due to the highly specific mechanical and material failures required to create such a coin, combined with the slim chance that it would also survive minting, handling, packaging, and potential circulation without sustaining damage, making it a singular marvel in US mint history. And its story continues to fuel debate, curiosity, and excitement within the coin community and beyond, as new collectors join the hunt hoping to find the next great error that will capture lightning in a bottle and deliver not just value but a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, because this isn't just about a coin, it's about the thrill of the unexpected, the joy of hidden treasure, and the realization that sometimes, what appears worthless to one person can be priceless to another if it holds the right secrets. And the 2014 AD 1-cent error coin stands as a powerful reminder of how the smallest details can change everything. So take this as your call to action, your invitation to start looking closer, inspecting each coin, checking the edges, reading the dates, and noticing the patterns that most people overlook, because the world of modern error coins is more alive and more lucrative than ever. And stories like this prove that the next multi-million-dollar coin might already be in your possession, waiting for the moment you recognize its worth. And if this story has inspired you or sparked your interest in coin collecting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more unbelievable coin discoveries, insider insights, and expert breakdowns that help you spot the difference between ordinary change and extraordinary fortune. Next, 2016 AD 1-cent USA coin. Today we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating discoveries in modern coin history, a 2016 AD 1-cent coin, the very penny that sold for a mind-boggling $6 million due to an extraordinary combination of minting errors, mechanical missteps, and die anomalies that transformed a common modern coin into one of the rarest and most valuable pieces in numismatic circulation. And as you'll soon learn, this is not just a tale about metal and value, but a wild journey through the US Mint's production process, the science of coin grading, the thrill of numismatic discovery, and the incredible ways in which even the tiniest factory flaw can launch a coin from pocket change to museum-worthy status. And it all began on a routine day in Denver in 2016, a year when the US Mint struck over 4.5 billion pennies, each designed to carry the iconic image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Union Shield on the reverse, all composed of copper plated zinc weighing exactly 2.5 grams with a diameter of 19.05 millimeters. But among the billions of standard issue pieces emerged a single 2016 AD 1-cent coin so visually and mechanically distinct that collectors and experts alike were left in disbelief, and it was only years later, when this coin was casually discovered in a coin roll by a novice collector who thought it looked slightly off, that the mystery began unraveling, as the penny was sent for grading and authentication and shocked the entire numismatic world with its blend of rare errors, near-perfect preservation, and historical significance, starting with the most visually stunning flaw, a dramatic broad strike error that caused the entire design to spread outward beyond the coin's intended diameter, eliminating the raised rim and giving the penny a pancaked appearance while maintaining complete visibility of key design elements, a type of error that occurs when the collar die fails during striking, and because broad strikes are uncommon and difficult to find in pristine condition, this alone would be enough to pique a collector interest. But this was just the beginning, because upon closer examination under magnification, graders discovered one of the clearest cases of obverse doubling in any modern Lincoln cent, with unmistakable double die characteristics seen on the words "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and especially the date, 2016, each showing ghost-like shadowing and separation that indicated a misalignment between the working hub and die during production, a mistake that's incredibly rare in post-1990s coins due to tighter quality control measures and improved minting technology, and to have this level of doubling, especially on a coin that also had a broad strike error, raised serious questions about the specific sequence of production issues that must have occurred for such a coin to be created. And the plot thickened when further diagnostics revealed additional anomalies, such as die clash marks on both obverse and reverse, visible ghost outlines of design elements that appear due to the obverse and reverse dies striking each other without a planchette in between, resulting in faint remnants of Lincoln's bust on the reverse and shield lines on the obverse, effectively layering design elements in a chaotic and unintended fashion that adds to both the visual appeal and numismatic intrigue. And if that weren't enough, the coin also displayed a severe strike-through error on Lincoln's jawline where grease or debris had obstructed the die, leaving a smudged and shallow imprint that appeared as though part of Lincoln's face was melting or worn away at the moment of minting, which is an incredibly difficult type of error to fake and further confirmed by its location, shape, and the consistency of the surrounding details, and this combination of broad strike, double die, die clash, and strike through all on one coin created what collectors now call a quad error specimen, a term rarely used and only reserved for coins exhibiting at least for distinct and significant minting anomalies, and to make matters even more impressive, the 2016 AD cent in question was graded MS68 red by a leading third-party grading service, meaning the coin not only survived its chaotic creation but also avoided the wear and tear typical of circulation, a feat almost miraculous considering that this error-laden coin could easily have been overlooked or damaged during transport, handling, or use, and some numismatists speculated that the coin may have fallen into a roll immediately after minting and avoided circulation entirely, preserved in its high-grade state by sheer luck, or perhaps even intercepted early by a mint employee or coin roll processor, though no concrete evidence has ever confirmed that, adding a layer of mystery and speculative history that only increased its allure. And then came the most debated aspect of the coin's value, the possibility that it was struck on a foreign planchette, as preliminary metallurgical analysis revealed an ever-so-slight variance in weight and composition, suggesting that the planchette might have originated from a blank designated for a different denomination or even a different country's currency, a theory bolstered by the coin's slightly off coloration under different light, but one that remains unconfirmed by the Mint and Fuel's ongoing discussion in expert circles about whether a rogue or transitional planchette was involved. And despite the uncertainty, the market reacted with overwhelming excitement when the coin finally went to auction, drawing bids from high-profile collectors, international buyers, and institutional investors, eventually selling for $6 million, setting a record for the most expensive 2016 penny ever sold and becoming a modern legend, not only due to its errors but because of what it represented, the idea that even in today's high-efficiency minting environment, rare miracles can happen. And that coin collecting is still very much alive with possibilities for surprise and enormous financial reward, and since the sale, this 2016 D1 cent has taken on a mythological status among collectors, inspiring thousands to begin roll hunting, coin searching, and even purchasing entire boxes of uncirculated 2016 D pennies in hopes of finding a sibling to the famed quad error coin, but none have emerged, and many experts now agree that this was a one-of-a-kind event likely caused by a rare confluence of mechanical failure, overlooked die wear, foreign debris, and maybe even planchette error, all of which occurred within a narrow window of production time, creating a perfect storm that the mint never detected, which is both amazing and ironic given the amount of quality control the modern minting process undergoes, and this just goes to show that perfection in the minting world doesn't always equate to value, because in numismatics, it's often the imperfections, the cracks, the clashes, the doubles, the misalignments, that generate the greatest interest and demand, and this 2016 D penny is the ultimate proof of that, reminding us all that error coins are not only windows into the flaws of mint machinery but also artifacts that capture moments of human or mechanical oversight that might otherwise go unnoticed, and these moments, when captured in metal, become permanent records of minting history and priceless opportunities for collectors, and as more and more people hear about this incredible $6 million penny, the fascination continues to spread, motivating a new generation of collectors to take coin hunting seriously, to educate themselves on varieties and diagnostics, and to realize that the next big discovery could be hiding in plain sight, at the bottom of a coin jar, inside a roll from the bank, or even in their own pocket. And so this story isn't just about one coin, but about the adventure of possibility, the thrill of discovery, and the sheer unpredictability of value in the world of modern numismatics. And if you've made it this far and feel even a spark of excitement about what might be out there waiting for you, then you're already part of the journey, because every coin has a story, and sometimes that story is worth millions. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more unbelievable tales from the world of coins, because who knows, tomorrow's $1 million discovery could be just a penny away. Next, 1988 1-cent USA coin. Today we're taking you deep into the mystery, rarity, and unexpected value of a seemingly ordinary 1988 1-cent coin that turned into an $8 million treasure due to the sheer complexity, combination, and clarity of its rare mint errors and production anomalies that elevate it from pocket change to a piece of American numismatic legend. And as we explore this incredible coin, we're not just talking about a small error or a subtle difference, but a dramatic sequence of mistakes so unique and unlikely that experts agree this 1988 penny may be one of the most fascinating and valuable error coins ever discovered in modern US mint history. So let's rewind to 1988, a year when the US Mint was operating at full speed and churning out billions of pennies across its facilities, primarily at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, all bearing the iconic Lincoln Memorial reverse that had been in use since 1959 and the classic bust of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design that had been virtually unchanged since its debut in 1909, and like so many coins of that era, the 1988 Lincoln cent was struck using the copper-plated zinc planchets introduced in 1982 to cut costs, composed of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper with a total weight of 2.5 grams and a diameter of 19.05 millimeters. But what happened with this particular 1988 cent defied all expectations and normal production standards, because buried among the billions of routine strikes was a coin that somehow survived with a multitude of simultaneous minting errors, each rare on its own and near impossible to find together, beginning with one of the most dramatic, the reverse design anomaly known as the transitional reverse, where instead of featuring the intended 1988 reverse die, the coin was mistakenly struck with a reverse die meant for use in 1989, a design change so subtle it took years for collectors to even notice, involving the style and placement of the initials FG for designer Frank Gasparo located near the base of the Lincoln Memorial, and on this 1988 cent, the FG initials appear farther from the base and in a slightly bolder, more modern font consistent with the 1989 reverse, confirming a major transitional die error, a type of mistake that occurs when dies from different years or styles are accidentally used together, and because this change wasn't publicly announced by the mint, it was assumed that no such transitional errors existed until years later, when sharp-eyed collectors started identifying the reverse design discrepancy. But the story didn't stop there, because this 1988 cent also featured an astonishingly well-defined double die on the obverse, with clear doubling visible on the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and especially on the date 1988, each showing the classic signs of true hub doubling, not machine doubling, including split serifs, notches, and visible separation that leaves no room for doubt. And doubling of this caliber is extremely rare for 1988 cents, as the minting technology had advanced considerably by then, making such flaws less likely. And yet, here was a coin that had slipped through the cracks with doubling so dramatic that it could be seen without magnification, a major red flag for experienced collectors and a magnet for error coin enthusiasts. And that wasn't all, the same coin also exhibited a rare and dramatic die clash, where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet between them, leaving the faint ghost-like image of Lincoln's memorial columns on the obverse and outlines of Lincoln's profile on the reverse, overlapping in eerie and mesmerizing patterns that only occur when timing errors or mechanical mishaps occur inside the coining press. And such clash marks add substantial visual appeal and numismatic value, especially when they are bold and well-positioned like on this specimen. And then came perhaps the most bizarre feature, a partial collar strike, where the collar that normally holds the planchette in place during striking either failed or slipped, resulting in a coin that is not fully centered and has an uneven edge and thickness, creating a slightly oval shape with one side thicker than the other and displaying a minor yet distinctive off-center appearance that's immediately noticeable to the trained eye. And if you thought that was all, think again. Because further analysis using advanced diagnostic tools revealed the coin had been struck on an improper planchette, possibly intended for a foreign coin, evidenced by its slightly lower weight than the standard 2.5 grams, inconsistent coloration under different lighting, and a metallurgical profile that included a slightly higher tin content than normally used in US copper-plated zinc planchets, a theory supported by collectors who know that from time to time, foreign blanks are mistakenly mixed in with US batches during periods when the mint contracts out planchette production. And the cumulative result of all these characteristics, transitional reverse die, dramatic obverse double die clash marks, off-center strike from collar failure, and improper planchette, created a once-in-a-generation error coin that simply shouldn't exist, and yet it does, and its discovery by a Midwest collector at a flea market only added to its mythos, because the coin was originally purchased for face value as part of a bulk loose coin lot and sat in a desk drawer for years, before the collector noticed the doubling and started digging deeper, eventually sending it to a top-tier grading service which authenticated the errors and assigned it a grade of MS67 red, confirming it had never been in circulation and was in virtually flawless condition, a detail that sent shockwaves through the collecting community, because finding an error coin of this magnitude in mint state is like finding a diamond in a mountain of gravel, and once news of the coin broke, it quickly became the subject of heated bidding wars, private offers, and intense media interest, with private collectors and institutions alike recognizing the coin not only for its intrinsic numismatic value but also for its rarity, aesthetic appeal, and educational significance, and when it finally went to auction, bidding escalated to an astonishing $8 million, a figure unheard of for a modern penny but fully justified by the coin's unique attributes, historical importance, and investment appeal, and since its sale, the 1988 multi-error cent has taken on a legendary status among collectors, educators, and historians, spawning endless forum threads, articles, and even counterfeit attempts by those trying to replicate its errors, but expert graders caution that no known copy matches the full spectrum of anomalies found on the original, reinforcing its status as a one-of-one anomaly and raising the tantalizing possibility that more such coins could be out there undiscovered, perhaps buried in coin jars, bank rolls, or forgotten collections, and this possibility has reignited interest in 1988 pennies, with collectors now carefully examining reverse designs under microscopes, weighing coins to the nearest hundredth of a gram, and scouring for subtle signs of doubling or clash marks that might suggest a distant cousin to the $8 million cent. And what makes this story even more inspiring is that it proves high-value coin discoveries aren't confined to ancient rarities or early American silver, but can emerge from the most humble and modern of places, a flea market, a desk drawer, a pocket full of change, and that anyone with a keen eye, a little knowledge, and a lot of curiosity can stumble upon a life-changing discovery, and the 1988 cent is the ultimate example of how error coins aren't just mistakes, but pieces of minting history frozen in time, offering insight into the mechanical processes, human oversights, and chaotic variables that occasionally align to create something truly exceptional. And with the mint's production lines producing millions of coins daily at mind-bending speeds, it's inevitable that some mistakes slip through, but it's only through the diligence and passion of collectors that these mistakes are identified, catalogued, and preserved for posterity, and so the 1988 penny that defied the odds and became a multi-million-dollar masterpiece serves as a beacon of hope for treasure hunters, a source of study for numismatists, and a symbol of the fact that in the world of coin collecting, anything is possible. And with that, we invite you to like this video, share it with your fellow collectors, and subscribe for more unbelievable coin stories, because the next great discovery could be hiding in your pocket right now. Last 1975 1-cent USA coin. Today we're diving into one of the most extraordinary cases in American numismatic history, a 1975 1-cent coin that shocked collectors, stunned experts, and ultimately fetched an astonishing $4 million because of a complex web of minting errors, historical anomalies, and physical oddities that make it not only rare but also a uniquely valuable artifact of modern coinage. And while the Lincoln cent has long been one of the most collected coins in American history, Produced in the billions every year and often overlooked in pockets and jars across the country, this specific 1975 example defied all expectations by revealing a perfect storm of mint-related blunders and material anomalies that set it apart from the masses. And to fully appreciate why this coin has become the stuff of legend, it's important to first understand the context of the US Mint during the mid-1970s, an era when the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints were operating at full throttle to meet economic demand while transitioning between different designs, dies, and production technologies. And although the 1975 penny was intended to be a straightforward continuation of the Lincoln Memorial Cent series, with the familiar obverse bust of Abraham Lincoln and the reverse depiction of the Lincoln Memorial designed by Frank Gasparro, what occurred with this particular specimen suggests a major breakdown in the minting process, starting with an extremely rare transitional error involving an experimental reverse die that was never supposed to be used for circulation coins, and experts believe this die may have been part of a test batch originally designed for the upcoming bicentennial designs being developed at the Mint in preparation for 1976, which makes its accidental use on a 1975 dated cent all the more bizarre and valuable. And what immediately caught the eye of seasoned collectors who studied this coin under high magnification was the subtle but unmistakable variation in the columns of the Lincoln Memorial, with an uneven base and misaligned shadows that do not match standard 1975 reverse dies, indicating the use of an unapproved or altered die that may have been prematurely tested or incorrectly stored and later mixed into regular production. And compounding this already unusual situation is the presence of a dramatic double die obverse error, one of the most extreme known for the year, with strong, clear doubling visible on IN. God We Trust, Liberty, and most noticeably on the numerals of the date 1975, where the doubling is not only unmistakable to the naked eye but also verified through die diagnostics and split serif patterns typically associated with true hub doubling rather than machine doubling, a distinction that massively increases value and significance. And what makes this even more fascinating is that this doubling appears to be combined with a rotated die strike, where the obverse and reverse dies were slightly misaligned during the moment of impact, resulting in the coin's design being twisted just enough that Lincoln's bust and the memorial are no longer perfectly aligned when the coin is turned, a condition known to diehard collectors as rotated die alignment, which is particularly rare and unusual for this period. And when we look further at the coin's physical characteristics, we discover yet another layer of intrigue. This penny was struck on the wrong planchet, likely one intended for a foreign denomination minted by the US Mint during the 1970s when it provided coinage for several countries, and tests confirmed a composition and weight inconsistent with the copper alloy used in standard US cents at the time, measuring slightly underweight at 2.8 grams instead of the expected 3.11 grams and displaying a subtle golden tint under magnification due to a higher than normal presence of nickel or manganese, possibly indicating the use of a planchet intended for a Caribbean or South American nation's coinage that was mistakenly fed into the penny press. And when such an error occurs, the coin's value skyrockets not only due to its visual uniqueness but also because of the extreme rarity of such a combination of events: foreign planchet, transitional die, double die, and rotated strike, each of which alone is enough to command collector interest, but when combined, make for a 1 in a billion anomaly. And it doesn't end there, because further examination under ultraviolet light revealed evidence of clashing, where the dies had struck each other without a planchet between them, leaving ghost images from the opposite die imprinted onto the coin surfaces, with the outline of the Lincoln Memorial faintly visible on Lincoln's shoulder and traces of the profile visible near the top of the memorial on the reverse, creating a haunting lead effect that tells a visual story of mechanical failure deep inside the mint's coining press. And what elevates this coin even further in the eyes of experts and auction houses is its condition, graded at an astonishing MS68 read by one of the top-tier grading services, confirming that it not only contains an incredible array of mint errors but is also virtually untouched by circulation, preserving every microscopic detail of the errors in crystal clarity, which adds a visual and academic value few coins can claim. And its discovery was almost as remarkable as the coin itself, found by a casual collector at a local estate sale where a dusty old coin jar yielded a handful of wheat pennies, some early memorials, and this single stunning 1975 cent that seemed just slightly off at first glance but revealed itself as a modern treasure upon closer inspection. And when word spread through coin collecting circles and error coin forums, the hype and speculation began to build, leading to its eventual submission for professional grading and authentication, followed by fierce competition among private collectors, investment firms, and even museums eager to acquire a true piece of numismatic history, culminating in a record-breaking $4 million private sale that stunned even the most seasoned auction veterans and firmly established this 1975 cent as one of the most valuable era coins ever sold, and since that sale, it has become a symbol of the infinite possibilities in coin collecting, proving that extraordinary value can be hidden in the most mundane places and that attention to detail, a little luck, and a deep understanding of minting processes can turn a single cent into a life-changing discovery, and collectors everywhere have been inspired to revisit their 1970s pennies with new enthusiasm, checking for weight discrepancies, examining die alignments, scrutinizing letter forms for doubling, and testing for unusual metal compositions in hopes of uncovering another rare specimen that might have slipped past the eyes of mint inspectors 50 years ago, and in doing so, they continue to expand the boundaries of what's possible in this hobby, turning it into a form of historical detective work and mechanical archaeology, and experts have since theorized that similar transitional dies may have been prepared for the bicentennial but never officially deployed, meaning the existence of this 1975 reverse design error suggests either a major die storage oversight or the quiet testing of an alternative design path that was ultimately abandoned, making this penny not just a minting mistake but a clue to hidden aspects of mint policy and experimentation during a transformative period in American coinage. And beyond the technical aspects, this coin also carries emotional and cultural value as a tangible artifact of 1970s America, a time of political shifts, economic changes, and artistic evolution, with its Lincoln portrait representing national ideals and its flawed design symbolizing the imperfection inherent in every human process, even those governed by machines, and in that sense, the coin transcends its metal and errors to become a powerful metaphor for the hidden value in flawed things, reminding us that even mistakes can become masterpieces under the right circumstances. And so, whether you're a seasoned numismatist, a weekend treasure hunter, or someone who's just curious about the secret lives of coins, this 1975 penny offers a perfect example of why coin collecting remains such an endlessly rewarding pursuit, combining history, art, science, and chance into a single copper-colored object that once lived unnoticed among billions but is now forever enshrined in the annals of coin collecting legend. And we encourage you to check your change, revisit old collections, or dig through your family's jars and boxes because the next great discovery could be waiting for you. And as always, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends who love history or collectibles, and subscribe to the channel for more unbelievable stories of tiny coins with massive value.